You're watching GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a terrific show for you today. We're going to open the doors to one of the most incredibly challenging career fields that exists, air traffic control. But more than that, we're going to talk to a young man who is an air traffic controller at Pax River. It's an incredible story. We have an incredible guest. Grab yourself a cup of coffee and come back and join us in a couple of moments as we have GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10.
Why smart people buy their used cars from Jack Fitzgerald. Reason number 1.
The most important reason to buy a car from us is our 138-point inspection report. We check the car out thoroughly, and we put a copy of that report in your glove compartment so that you know as much about that car as we do before you buy it.
Shop our entire used car inventory at fitzmall.com.
And that's the Fitz way. There's just no better way to go.
Changing times brings changing needs. That's why, for your convenience, Booth's Heating and Air have extended their service hours to 10 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, at regular service rates. Through rigorous training classes and courteous business practices, Booth's technicians always go above and beyond to provide you with award-winning customer service that you can trust. Booth's Heating and Air, serving the Southern Maryland area since 1993.
Over the course of the last few weeks, I've been doing some exploring in an incredibly complicated and complex career field, air traffic control. And what I have learned and the people that I have met have really showed me that we have some incredible people in our community. My guest today on GAB with ALisa is Air Traffic Controller First Class Matthew Dunn. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Air traffic control in and of itself is very, very challenging. It's one of those career fields where you actually do have people's lives in your hand. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about your career choice with the Navy, but I also would like to say congratulations because you're the Pax River Air Controller of 2014. That is an incredible honor for Pax River, for St. Mary's County, and of course for you personally. So before we get into the whole career field, let's talk about this award and what it means for the community. How did you get this award, and tell us a little bit about what that means?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful honor. It's a real privilege. I certainly could not have done it without myself. It's an entire team effort. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have done it without all of the air traffic controllers there at Pax River, their support, and it's been a true honor. I'm very thankful for that.
When I spoke to your division officer about this particular award, and he was describing you and the things that you do and have done, one of the things that he said that I thought was very poignant is he said that the award, it was his opportunity to put down on paper and tell everybody else how much you are needed within the organization. There was no military speak, there was no protocol, there was nothing like that. He just said that you are very necessary to the job that needs to get done. What do you say about that?
That's very special, and it's very kind of him to say. I'm pleased that I'm as valued as he said. I certainly try. It's a job and a facility that requires 110% effort all the time, and I'm thankful for that.
Now, you've been in St. Mary's County at Pax River for about 6 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk about how you got into the military. You come from a military family, and by the way, before we go any further, I'd like to thank you for your service and also for the legacy that you come from with your family being in the military.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's talk a little bit about your career choices. How did you get into the military, and how did you decide what you were going to do?
I attended college for a couple of years prior to joining the active duty service. My father was a sailor as well, a 25-year LDO, and as a family we're very pro-military, and I decided that it was my turn to take up the uniform and provide a service to our country. My initial job request for the Navy was to be a Navy SEAL. After completing boot camp and doing some of the trainings there and speaking with SEALs, I decided that it wasn't the lifestyle for me.
Okay.
It didn't align with my goals. However, I didn't want to take another job that would be any less challenging.
Sure.
I have a tremendous respect for the Navy SEAL community. I think what they do is incredible. It just wasn't for me, so I decided to be an air traffic controller.
That almost sounds to me like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Very challenging field as far as air traffic control goes. And for those of you that may be a little less familiar with air traffic control, and particularly with what goes on at PAX, let's kind of paint a picture, if you will. I think some people think that being an air traffic controller is a lot like being a traffic policeman. You know, you've got a flow of traffic, you've got a speed, but that really is very far from the truth, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's an extremely technically challenging job. There's a lot of different facets to the job itself. We are responsible for dozens and dozens of different platforms of aircraft that operate in a huge amount of airspace. That requires a lot of understanding, and it's certainly not for the faint of heart. There's a level of bravery that is required, but it's extremely rewarding to work with aviators in such a dynamic environment to provide all the services that we possibly could.
Okay, you talk about different platforms of aircraft that you deal with. What do you mean? What does that mean?
Every type of aircraft, helicopter, fixed wing, manned and unmanned aircraft that the Navy offers, that the Navy operates right here at Pax River. And that's an extremely challenging task for any air traffic controller to keep all of those aircraft separated, to preserve safety of flight, because there's people behind the wheels of those airplanes as well, and that's it's important for us to get them in the air safely and get them back safely every single day.
And let's throw another wrench into that. You also are responsible for unmanned vehicles, right?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay.
So Pax River is we're really at the cutting edge for all unmanned operations in the Navy, and I would say in the entire armed forces. We've made huge strides, tons of innovation in the unmanned world, and everything that is testing is going on right here at Pax River. So it's very rewarding. Not a lot of air traffic controllers in the Navy or even in the world really get to see the type of operations that we're doing here. So I'm very fortunate.
So you're in a very unique job field overall, but you're stationed at an incredibly unique duty station because, as you mentioned, Pax River is a test station, and so any kind of airframe or aircraft that goes through the Navy is tested here at PAX. So when you talk about the different types of aircraft as an air traffic controller that you deal with on a daily basis, you're dealing with unmanned vehicles, single prop aircraft,
Yes,
all the way up to
the latest F-35, the Joint Strike Fighter. It's very challenging, but it's exciting also for the controllers. There's a real sense of pride, a real sense of accomplishment, knowing that we all had a direct hand, a direct influence in the development of those aircraft and those systems.
Okay. Well, I think far more than being a traffic officer, you're almost a conductor because you've got your different types of instruments across the board. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the military in general, what you think about today's Navy, what you think about where you're going, and what you would say to people that are considering joining the military as well.
Yes,
talk a little bit about you personally as well. We're going to take a break. You're watching GAB with ALisa. We'll be right back on MetroCast Channel 10.
Life is a journey. Every day is a chance to do more, be more, and be better. Hi, I'm Dunn Campbell. Join me on this journey to be your best, whether you're working in a cubicle, managing a full house, or entering a new chapter of life. If you feel good, you look good, inside and out. Join me each week for Be Your Best on MetroCast Channel 10. We can do it together. Be Your Best is brought to you by Burris's Old Town Insurance, an independent agent representing Erie Insurance Group.
You're watching GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10. When we talk to people that have really incredibly unique jobs and do really special things right here in our own community, and we're talking to Matthew. You are the air traffic controller for Pax River 2014. That sounds great. I'm sure that's an incredible certificate to hang up on the wall. But I really want to unpack for our viewers what that means. We talked a little bit about it in the first segment. You are at a highly prized duty station if you're particularly in the air traffic controller field. So let's talk first of all about why that is. What is so special about Pax River?
Yes, ma'am. Pax River is the absolute pinnacle for aviation, not just air traffic control, but I would say for naval aviation in general. It's an extremely complex environment that mixes a lot of different aircraft like we talked about, but it's also a dynamic airspace environment as well. We interface not only inside the facility, but with other FAA facilities as well, and it's important, our lines of communication with them and assisting them in understanding what it is that we do here. These are facilities that don't have an extremely large amount of military experience, and it's important that we communicate with them well enough to ensure that our mission is completed with as much safety and success as we possibly can.
Now, saying that Pax River is the pinnacle of a position and place to go is not just a header that we hang on a board and hang over the gates to the base. There is quantifiable and qualifiable information to prove that. Our proximity to Washington, D.C., and when you step back and you think about things for a minute and you think about airspace, we've got Dover, we've got Washington, D.C., and then of course we have civilian airspace as well. That means that on any given day as an air traffic controller, you're dealing with civilians, other branches of the military and other bases as well, plus all of these different aircraft. And that's why Pax River is such a terrific place to be able to be assigned.
Yes, ma'am. It's not only the military and all the testing aircraft that we're responsible to provide services for, but also to the other general aviation aircraft that operate inside of our airspace, who may have very to little no understanding of our operations, as well as our airspace makeup as well. So it's very important for their safety that we provide the best possible service that we can in order to keep them safe, as well as our own military aviators. Pax River allows controllers the opportunity to learn so much more about the air traffic control profession itself. It's not only military. Yes, we are military controllers, but we also provide a service to general aviation aircraft as well.
Now, if we have somebody watching this interview and they're thinking, that is a cool job. I think the military might be for me, and I think particularly that job description. What do you say from a cautionary perspective, and then what do you say from an absolutely go for it encouraging perspective?
The air traffic control community, as well as the military, is an extremely rewarding, personally rewarding experience for anyone who's questioning whether or not that they would like to do it. I would say that you absolutely have to take the chance. If you work hard, if you're dedicated to the cause, if you have pride when you put on this uniform, then the amount of success that you could earn is limitless.
Okay, wonderful. And would you encourage people to pursue this? Would you say this is the way to go?
Yes, ma'am, I absolutely would.
Okay, good. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about you personally. We've done all the professional things. You're very decorated, have a lot of awards and what have you. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about you personally. You've been in St. Mary's County for 6 years. I want to know what you think about St. Mary's County.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll take a quick break. You're watching GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10. We'll be right back.
Everybody knows Jeep is an American icon. It's fun on the road, off the road, to take you anywhere you want to go. Here at Fitzgerald, we have all the Jeep Chrysler models and our low posted price. There's no hassle, no haggle buying a car here. It's fun. Plus, it's backed up with Fitzway service.
Get 0% APR financing on almost every new 2015 Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep.
Treat yourself to an American icon. That's the Fitzway. There's just no better way to go.
Changing times brings changing needs. That's why, for your convenience, Booth's Heating and Air have extended their service hours to 10 hours a day, Monday through Saturday, at regular service rates. Through rigorous training classes and courteous business practices, Booth's technicians always go above and beyond to provide you with award-winning customer service that you can trust. Booth's Heating and Air, serving the Southern Maryland area since 1993.
You're watching GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10. Thanks for joining us again as we continue to talk to this wonderful young man, a representative from Pax River, the U.S. Navy. Well-traveled, well-spoken, kind, friendly. You're just such a good representation.
Thank you.
You come from a military family, and I think that a lot of times people think, military, you move a lot, you move everywhere. Is that the case?
It is the case, yes ma'am. I'm a third-generation sailor, but I think that moving around, experiencing new communities, new cultures, new states is extremely valuable. I attribute a lot to that. I'm originally from Oklahoma.
Okay.
I was born there, and the age of 5, we moved to San Diego, California. My dad was stationed there. He was a submariner, so he was with the Deep Submergence Unit there. And San Diego is very gorgeous. I really enjoyed the weather there. After 4 years, we moved to Groton, Connecticut, and he was stationed aboard another submarine there. 4 years later, there's a trend. It seems like we moved to Northern Virginia, which is where I attended high school in Stafford. I graduated there in 2002. After that, we moved to Millington, Tennessee, just outside Memphis. I lived there for 2 years, and that's where I decided that I was going to join the Navy, and I enlisted out of there.
Wow, and you've been here for 6 years. You are getting ready to leave soon. I don't want to forget that. You have to tell people where you're headed.
In August, I'll be transferring to the USS Harry Truman.
Wow.
And I'm extremely anxious for the opportunity. I enjoy being out to sea.
I bet. What an honor. You know, you've been here for 6 years, and talking off camera before this interview, I made the comment to you that a lot of times when young people come to this community, they say, it is beautiful, it's nice, but there's not a lot to do. You, however, have taken advantage of a lot of opportunities.
Yes,
so first of all, what have you found to keep yourself busy when you're not directing traffic? What do you do outside of the gates of the base during the day?
I believe that I'm adventurous, so I really enjoy being outside. There's plenty of water sports here. There's sailing, there's stand-up paddleboarding, and plenty of fishing. If you want to get off the water, there's plenty of hiking in the area. There's plenty of mountain biking. I'm an avid golfer, so there's multiple courses in the immediate area that offer plenty of excellent golf, so I take advantage of those opportunities. It's nice also that we have 4 seasons, so we get winter sports as well. If it's snowboarding or skiing or snowmobiling, there's plenty of opportunity. You just have to get out there and find it.
You know what, I normally try to keep these interviews and conversations very broad-based to appeal for everybody, but because of what you just said, I would like you to speak to a young member of the military who just landed in St. Mary's County. Tell them how to go find wonderful things to do. What did you do when you got here that just opened up the door to such a great life? Well,
I was fortunate that the air traffic control team that we had was very encouraging, very welcoming, made friends quickly. Other like-minded folks like myself who knew the area already, and they wanted to get out, and they wanted to show what it was that St. Mary's had to offer, and that was extremely rewarding for me. And I think it's about getting outside of your comfort zone and really discovering what it is that you like to do. There's plenty of opportunity here. You just have to find it. And I believe that St. Mary's does an excellent job of really advertising what it is that they have to offer. You just have to open your eyes to it as well.
Absolutely. Now, we've talked about how you work very, very hard, and you play, it sounds like, equally hard, but you also give.
Yes, ma'am.
You're a volunteer in a lot of local organizations.
Yes, ma'am. That's
talk
correct.
About that.
For 3 years, I assisted with the local Meals on Wheels program, delivering hot meals to families and people in the community, and that's extremely rewarding. It only takes an hour and a half out of your day, and you're really making someone else's day, and I think that's important, that we all find the humanitarian in us to give back. I mean, I may wear a uniform, but it's still important that we share with the community, just to be people. In addition to Meals on Wheels, I've also helped out with the Habitat for Humanity, helping to construct homes as best I can. I'm not too skilled with it, but I take direction very well, so that's important. And the most recent home that we finished was just dedicated several weeks ago, and it's the look on the family's faces, when they're able to take the keys to that door, to their new home it's extremely rewarding.
That's incredible. Well, I think a lot of people say at some point in their life, I want to change the world. You're actually doing it, so hats off to you.
Thank you.
Well, Matthew, it's been a wonderful experience to talk to you. I think St. Mary's County is better for you having been here. We wish you well as you move forward in life, and look forward to following your career and seeing what else happens.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This is it's a great honor for me, and I would love to come back to St. Mary's. If I can, I would absolutely retire, I believe.
That's great. I think that's
area.
That's one of the things that makes this community so wonderful. Is yes, we have a lot of water, we have a lot of beautiful land, but it truly is the people, and it's the people that have come here, such as yourself. This is where I was sent, and have decided this is where I want to be.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Matthew, thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching GAB with ALisa on MetroCast Channel 10. We'll see you next time.